Cyberspace is a world that we depend on every single day.
Conficker was the deadliest worm in all of history for computers.
Conficker, the internet worm that in recent months has infected millions of computers around the world.
Conficker uploaded to almost 65 million computers, totaling about 6% of all computers in history, the largest botnet ever.
Many organizations fought against this worm, the Conficker. The primary response by these large organizations to the actual Conficker worm was to sinkhole the Conficker.
Computers infected with Conficker A called back to the creator by buying up or using web pages about 250 each day.
Sinkholing is when an organization buys up a whole bunch of websites that can be used to control the Conficker.
Conficker A was not the only type of Conficker. It extended all the way to Conficker E, with slight variations on each kind.
The ways to solve these different variations of Conficker were different between them. Conficker A could not simply be solved by browsing web pages, but B and C could, for example.
Conficker had many ways to infect computers, including traveling through nodes or social networks, and port 455, a vulnerable spot in your computer.
There was a patch that was created by Microsoft to combat the 455 vulnerability. This patch is known as the MS-08 patch.
Conficker infected other computers using USB ports. The Pentagon was vulnerable to this and eventually was affected.
You can prevent yourself from being infected by Conficker USBs by disabling your autoplay feature.
Even though the US lost the first cyber world war, we came up with advanced lists to further on protect us from the Conficker virus.
One of these methods were mutexes. Mutexes prevent the Conficker from infecting a certain computer by working like a vaccine.
Time has cost Americans more than $8 billion.
Even though Conficker was the worst worm in history of all computer viruses, there are still ways to combat it.
If you want to learn more about Conficker and how to protect yourself, you can go to Microsoft.com.